Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and this is going to be on a new flashlight that I picked up recently. Now, if you guys are like me, and hopefully a lot of you guys are, every time that I come across a new, cool-looking, unusual flashlight, I can't help myself but pick it up. I'm not a big flashlight reviewer. For the most part, I like to give you guys my opinion on what I think about the particular lights and the reasoning why I picked them up and stuff like that. So hopefully, you guys will find this video informative and helpful. So as you guys can see by the packaging, this is a flashlight by the brand Olight, and this has 320 lumens. And then the model is the S10 Baton. Now, when I first saw this flashlight, the first thing that kind of caught my eye was the size. It's very, very small, and if you have a lot of items in your EDC, sometimes size is one of the key requirements when you introduce a new piece of gear to your EDC system. So obviously that's one of the first things that attracted me to this. But there's certain other aspects about the actual light that I really enjoy, and I'll go ahead and share those with you. So as you guys can see, here's the packaging. I'll go ahead and open it up. Inside you get a small lanyard and an extra O-ring, and then the instructions right there. Take those out, and the light itself. Set that to the side. So as I mentioned before, it's a pretty small form factor on this light. It runs on one CR123 battery, which again, pretty much encompasses the majority of the size of the body of the actual light. So, as far as the relative size, you guys can kind of figure it out as far as that goes. So it's got some pretty nice knurling on the light itself. It gives you good traction, good grip on the light, when you do have it in your hand. As you guys can see here, it is pretty small. It kind of disappears in my palm right there. So one of the other things that kind of attracted me to this light was obviously the pocket clip. Now, I particularly carry my light clipped on my pocket as far as my EDC goes. Normally, I know a lot of people, if the light is it's a little small, they'll kind of drop it in a pocket or something like that. But I like mine to be pretty readily accessible. So if I'm wearing jeans, I'll normally clip it to the back left pocket. If I'm wearing cargo pants or cargo shorts, I clip it on one of the left side cargo pockets. So it's always there. It's muscle memory. If I reach down, I know it's going to be there. So obviously that's what I like. Now, what I like about this particular clip is that it lets the light ride pretty deep inside the pocket, and I like that because it's not going to be snagging on anything. You're not going to lose it, especially because of the size. It's going to be riding really deep in your pocket. It's going to be out of the way. Nobody will see it and stuff like that. So I enjoy that. The other thing that kind of attracted me to it is the button on the side right here. As opposed to having it in the back, like I normally would prefer the lights to have it. If I can't have it that way, I would at least like to have a button on the light, because I'm not a big fan of the lights that you have to twist to turn on and off. The reason is because you normally have to use two hands to do that. I know there are certain lights that you can kind of manipulate your fingers to do that, but especially if it's those lights that you're going to have to go through different modes and stuff like that, that kind of becomes a little bit of a pain. So if it can have a button to turn on and off, I would prefer that. Now, the only drawback that I do find with this particular light is that there's no momentary on the actual button. I do prefer that on the lights, especially the ones that have the Tailcap Switch, and that's because I sometimes don't need to turn the light completely on to use it. Maybe I'm turning on the light to read something really quick or to find something underneath the desk or something like that, and just the momentary on kind of works for me. So again, it's got its pros and cons in what I needed to do. So on the tail cap right here, it also has a spot where you can put the lanyard that comes with it, or you can attach a small split ring if you want to maybe hang this from a keychain or something like that. Now, as I mentioned before, you actuate the light by pressing the switch, and there you go, turns the light on and turns it off. Now, this light does come with different modes. If you turn the light on and press it, it'll actually cycle through the different modes, so low, medium, high. So as you guys can see there, so low, medium, high, and it's when you turn it off. When you turn it back on, it'll actually remember the mode that you turned it off on, so it'll come back on that mode. Now, I personally like that a lot because I normally use the highest mode on the flashlights. I'm not the type of person that'll cycle through different modes. The light, I normally need it just to kind of look for stuff and stuff like that. So if I have a light that has a really high output, I would prefer to use that high output every single time. So I like the fact that it has that memory mode. Now, the other thing is, I don't like having to cycle through different modes, and most lights that you do have to either twist to turn on or something like that, when you turn them on the first time, it'll actually turn on either the lowest or the medium, and then you have to cycle through to get to the high. And I just like the fact that this comes on high all the time. Now this also has a strobe feature, which is if you double tap on the switch, it turns on the strobe feature, and turn it off. And then when you turn it back on, it'll actually just turn on the high mode. So that was pretty cool. Again, you don't have to twist or anything like that to get to the different modes, so I definitely do appreciate that. So let me give you a little bit of an example as far as how this rides in the pocket. Here I have the jeans pocket. So if you clip that on there, so you guys can see there, it rides really, really deep in the pocket there. You can't barely see anything coming off from the top. And I really like that because, again, I don't want it snagging on anything. It's low profile and you're good to go. Now, by way of comparison, I have a flashlight that I reviewed a couple months ago. This is the Cadet model from PowerTac. Now, this is a great light. This actually throws out 300 lumens. So this one's actually 20 lumens brighter. But this is really nice. It is a little bigger. It just still uses the one CR123 battery, but it does have the cannulated attack bezel on it. Now, this is one of those lights that has the tailcap switch, which is really nice. This one doesn't have batteries, unfortunately, but it has the momentary on, which is really nice. I like that on this light. But the only problem is that to switch through the different modes, you do have to turn the tailcap on it. Now, obviously, that just depends on what you're going to be using it for. But the one drawback that I did have with the light is obviously the pocket clip. And as you guys can see here, I'll show it next to it. When you clip it into your pants, it doesn't ride as low as the other one does. And as you guys can see, how much of the light itself is actually sticking out quite a bit. So that can definitely get in the way, and it can become a little annoying if if you're not used to it. So let me take both of these out so you guys can see the size comparison. Here's the Olight, and here's the PowerTac. Obviously, you're getting a smaller form factor in this one, and you're getting a more powerful output in it. And obviously, by another way of comparison, I have a 4.7 Quark Mini 123 right here. Also runs on one CR123 battery, but this one has no switches at all. This one's completely twist on it. So again, it's a lot smaller. It fits really nicely into a pocket or anything like that. But you don't get the the fast actuation of the light that you would with these two. So this one is obviously, in my opinion, a better like an EDC bag light or something like that, because you do get I believe you get about 90 lumens or 180 lumens out of this. I can't remember exactly the output on it in a really small form factor. So that's what I would prefer this particular light for. And again, it just depends on what you're using it for. So there you go. This is the Olight S10 Baton. And if you guys can get a hold of this, I definitely do recommend it, because you get a quite high output out of a really small form factor, and it fits pretty much anywhere. The button works great. So far I haven't had any issues with it, and the light is holding up really nicely. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.